I want in there right now.
Why don't you walk away? Tell Monroe I wouldn't scare. And if he wants me out of his house so bad, he should come over here his own self.
Now, who's Monroe? Oh, easy now. I'll be on my way. I can tell y'all anxious to get back to it. Can't say I blame you. Dear Lord, she must be some kind of peace.
So we get this very kind of Elmore Leonard sort of opening to this episode, right? Where you have this criminal who's come to, and what we eventually find out, you have this person who's come to harass Alison because he's upset that she got his kid taken away from him. And Raylan immediately assumes it's about him and Monroe, and neither one of them is willing to provide enough detail for the other to realize that they aren't talking about the same thing. So they keep talking past each other until the guy walks away completely confused, and Raylan walks away thinking that, oh, this is a guy that Monroe sent not very effectively to intimidate me, right?
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, look, this is the kind of hallmark of an Elmore Leonard short story, this sort of mistaken identity, chance encounter sort of thing where a cop or an agent of some sort bumps into a criminal of some sort in the normal course of their day, and they end up attracting their attention. And that's exactly what happens here is now Raylan is very interested in this individual. And that generally doesn't end well for the individuals who Raylan is interested in. When he gets back upstairs, in fact, further adding to his frustration, Alison is dressed, put together, and needs to leave. And I, of course, immediately thought of this.
She just flashed me her titties and scooted out the back.
Like, you haven't played that in a while, actually. It's been in storage.
With Alison needing to leave, leaving Raylan a little pent up, I would say. So he does the very the crestfallen frat boy what kind of response very well. But I'm gonna get blue balls. Can't you at least give me a handy before you go?
Do you think you rubbed one out like John Travolta? Like he's like he was gonna go home and he was like rub one out
before she even got to the foot of the stairs. So she leaves, and Raylan doesn't get to see her naked or have sex. So he goes to confront Monroe the next day because he's very unhappy. And so Monroe basically says, and again, they have this weird kind of oblique conversation where Monroe doesn't want to give away any information, but wants to try and extract as much out of Raylan as he can. So he doesn't ever really deny sending this guy, but he does say, hey, if I wanted to intimidate you, I'd probably do it myself, because I haven't always been a money launderer for the mob. I was an enforcer for a while too, so I'm not afraid of a little physical violence. And so Raylan walks away, again, assuming that Monroe is behind this attack, right? He's so fixated on Monroe being the one responsible that he's blind to any other possibility. Oh, and I forgot kind of an important piece of this is that he lied to Alison. He told her that the alarm was on the fritz. He didn't tell her that there was a guy with a shamrock tattoo down there threatening him. Yeah. Because if he had, all of this would have been solved immediately too. Because we find out that Alison knows who that guy is. So
what was his instinct is to Raylan's instinct was to not like he's intimate with with Alison, but he's like, that wouldn't that be the first thing? Like, oh, this guy showed up and we had this whole confrontation.
Well, you would think, right? I mean,
they'd be like, oh, this is what happened. You know, like, oh.
He does say at one point something about gave the girl I was with enough time to come to her senses. So he's probably like, look, I don't want to make her reconsider having sex with me. So I'll just lie to her about what happened outside, and then she'll have sex with me. And then maybe after she has sex with me, I'll tell her the truth. But I don't want to jeopardize getting the sex, you see.
So
I think they call that toxic masculinity, if I'm not mistaken.
Hound dog Raylan.
Really weird, horny, cum-brain Raylan, right? Like
something happened to him.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if maybe he just hasn't gotten laid since Lindsay, the bartender, took off, but like, he's a little pent up. So we get a quick check-in with Paxton. So Paxton and Mooney and Mara are all there having a chat. Paxton wants to report Boyd to the sheriff. Mara is trying to talk him out of it, saying, hey, look, I thought you were going to die. I had nobody to protect me. This Mooney guy intimidated me and threatened me with violence to try and get me to roll over on Boyd, and I was afraid that if I told anybody what happened with Boyd, that he was going to kill me. She plays it pretty convincingly, to the point where Paxton says, okay, I'm not going to let the police deal with this. Mooney, your job is to kill Boyd. And so now Mooney's got a mission to murder Boyd Crowder, which he's not thrilled about, I would say, based on his reaction. So Mooney doesn't seem like a killer to me. I don't think he's got it in him.
Yeah, but he had that sexual assaulter vibe last episode.
Yeah. I think it's easy to pick on like women, or when you're a cop, like that's kind of your thing, right? Is you pick on women and people who have less power and people who are smaller than you. You know, the guys who are bigger than you sit there with your knee on their throat for 9 minutes.
Or
put him in an illegal chokehold.
Yeah. And then everybody riots.
Yeah. So anyway, so Mooney's got a mission to kill Boyd now, and Boyd is busy on his own mission trying to find out who leaked the information about his shipment arriving. Now, so I have a clip of this scene. I just want to mention that how much I appreciate Wynn Duffy in this scene, and you can't pick it up from the audio, but you can pick up that Wynn gets a BB gun and he's shooting the BB gun at Cyrus. It's so awesome what Wynn's doing, just in the background shooting the BB gun at Cyrus as they're questioning him. It's really, really wonderful. And you can tell that Jerry Burns is having a great time with playing Wynn. But I'll go ahead and play that clip.
Well, shit, Boyd. You want to tell me why you had Captain Fullhawk drag me all the way over here?
We have a problem, Cyrus. Hoping maybe you could help.
Yeah, well, I hope that problem doesn't have anything to do with a certain service you said will be restored.
Is that a BB gun?
You got it with him.
The more you pump, the harder it shoots.
Ain't you never seen an air gun? Oh! Jesus, man! Almost took out my eye!
Yeah, I know, I missed.
Oh! God! What the hell is wrong with you, man?
My colleague is apoplectic at the part you played in the loss of our product.
Jesus!
I, on the other hand, understand you must have been an unwitting accomplice, because you ain't stupid enough to think you can rip me off and remain on this side of the goddamn planet.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So what I need from you right now, son, is to tell me who she is.
Boy, I don't know what you mean right now.
Whoever you told about the shipment. Now, I say she because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Come on now, son. Pussy is a powerful thing.
She calls herself Candy, but that just might be on account of this little trick she does with...
This better be important.
It's that Russian lady. She says it's an emergency.
You taking the call? It is important. Cyrus, in my absence, I encourage you to tell Mr. Duffy everything you know about Miss Candy and her bag of tricks.
Don't worry, Cyrus.
God!
Damn!
And Wynn just continues to shoot him with the BB rifle. It's really something. I do like the takeaway there, which is also our Kentucky Fried Wisdom moment of the week.
Say, boy, you cover about as much as a flapper skirt in a high wind. I say, pay attention, boy. But look at me when I'm talking to you, son. Look, sister, is any of this filtering through that little blue bonnet of yours? Pay attention, son. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
It kind of filters through this whole episode, right? Like the alternate title for this episode, or maybe a subtitle for this episode, could have been "Pussy is a Powerful Thing," because we get the whole Raylan storyline is generated solely on that basis. You've got this storyline where he's coughed up the details of the shipment arriving because of a trick that she does with pop rocks, and you also get Boyd and Mara with a little bit of shirtless action going on here at the end of the episode too, and I think it all plays in. It's a nice little bow. Pussy is a powerful thing that ties up the whole episode together.
Probably the only one I would have gone for would be the lady, the sexy
Mara.
Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's pretty hot.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, she could have like cut my finger off or whatever.
she's in with the Russian mob. She might actually have cut your finger off. Yeah.
Well, whatever you say.
You got it.
That's right.
I actually take issue with this storyline though, that the dealers. So I get that they told the dealers when the shipment was coming in. Right?
Yeah.
Like day after tomorrow. They didn't say when exactly, and they certainly didn't say the circumstances under which they would be taking delivery. So they're obviously, the person who hit this truck had more information than just the information that they gave to the dealers. But they're making it seem like Cyrus gave up the whole store.
But how would he have known?
But
because how would have? Yeah.
So.
I mean, even like you would think that, especially if they've had this experience as far as, you know, like transporting these drugs or security, it has to be a big concern because they've been ripped off like a couple of times already.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a little weird that they've tied this back around, but it makes, I mean, from a storyline, it makes sense. It's a little bit of a gap in the consistency, but it definitely makes sense because they want to bring it back around to cousin Johnny, of course. So then our next scene is back at the marshal's office, and we find out that Rachel and Raylan are going to be roommates for a while because Raylan reported the incident to Art, which, well, sort of reported the incident. Apparently, Monroe's lawyer reported Raylan for harassing Monroe, and Raylan then told Art about what had happened at Monroe's house. And as a result, Art thinks, hey, that is the Detroit mob. This is, you know, serious business. We're going to have Rachel move in. You guys are going to keep an eye on each other. Raylan immediately thinks it's, what did he call it? A super... chaperone is what he calls it. Art's like, yeah, it would only be a chaperone if I thought you were having a civilian over and doing personal things in that house, which surely you're not doing, right, Raylan? So that's you know,
Art,
again,
Art knows what's going on.
Yeah, Art knows exactly what's going on, and Raylan continues to just flaunt the rules as though they don't apply to him. And you can tell Rachel's upset with that, right? I mean, she comes in and she goes, "Oh, Golden Boy's getting evicted," and Art's like, "Well, no, you're just moving in there too."
I know. She should have just rolled her eyes at that point. She's like, "What the hell?"
Well, what's really funny about this, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but Raylan, when Rachel moves in with him, he dishes all of Alison's shit to her. Like, he tells her about the pot smoking. He tells her about the alleged setup of this fellow Henry Granger and how that all went down. He basically dishes all of her stuff to Rachel, and Rachel is starting to be like, hey, I'm wondering if you even have a line anymore. Like, is there anyone that you won't, bang or do business with? Like, is there any criminal that qualifies as somebody you're going to stay away from, especially if they're a woman?
No.
I do like